Hello and welcome to the unboxing of your wireless headset. When you receive your headset, it's going to come in a box like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open it up and then I'm going to lay everything out and label it so that way you can see what everything is. Before we move on, we would like to give a special thank you to LPEF. Thank you so much for your generous donation to help fund the purchase of 237 wireless microphones, which was received on December 3rd, 2020. Your financial support will make it possible for 3,464 secondary teachers and students to navigate the uncharted waters of hybrid learning. Improved audio will lead to engagement, which will positively impact student learning. Once again, thank you, LPEF. Here I have everything unboxed and laid out, and the first thing we're going to look at is your transmitter. This is going to be your receiver. Then we have your multi-functioning tripod where your receiver can sit on. We have two cables. The first one's going to be your TRRS cable, also known as your phone cable, and this is going to be the important cable. This would be the cable that we'll use. Your next one's going to be your camera cable or your TRS cable. Then we have your 1/4 to an 1/8 inch jack or adapter. We have your lavalier microphone, your headset microphone. We have a stand microphone. Then all your microphones can be swapped out and you can put the windproof fur shield on that. And then lastly, we have your black charging cables. The first thing we're going to do is get our transmitter set up, and a couple of things to note on your transmitter. On the top here, you're going to have your mic jack, then you're going to have your power button, your antenna, you're going to have your volume down, volume up. On the bottom here, you're going to have your 5-volt charging port, and on the bottom here, you should see a little light. When you are charging this, red will indicate it is under charge, and then green is going to indicate that it is fully charged. For microphones, you do have 3 choices. So you have your stand mic, your lavalier mic, and then your headset mic. And again, if you like, you do have the option to swap out this black part right here to the windproof fur shield if you would prefer that. Alright, so for today's demonstration purposes, we're going to use the transmitter with the stand mic. And to get this set up, you're going to take the audio jack and you're going to put it into the audio port. You should hear a click, and then you're just going to finger tight. Your transmitter is set up and ready, and when you are ready to use them, go ahead and press the power button, and then you're set. The next thing we're going to set up is your receiver, and on your receiver, there's a couple things to note. So you have your 5-volt charging port, you have your antenna, then you have your power button. On the bottom here, you're going to have your battery light indicator. Red is going to mean that it needs to be charged. Blue will indicate it is charged. You're going to have the middle light here. The middle light is going to indicate if it is connected to your transmitter. And then on the right here is going to be your charging light. Red is going to indicate that you are under charge, and green will indicate that you are fully charged. When setting up your receiver, there's 3 cables that you can use. You have your TRRS cable or your phone cable. You have your TRS cable or your camera cable. And then you have your 1/4 inch to an 1/8 inch adapter. Remember, your cord you want to use is going to be your phone cable or your TRRS cable. To connect your receiver, all you're going to do is you're going to take your 1/4 inch jack and put it into the jack port. And that's going to bring it from a 1/4 inch to an 1/8 inch jack. So this will fit in all of our laptops and all of our iPads. One additional step that you can do is take your multi-functioning tripod, and on the top here you're going to have a 1/4 inch 20 screw, and then you have your receiver adapter. That screws right on. And then your receiver can slide right in. If you're following along with the video, you will not be able to hear the audio if you plug in your receiver. The next steps will show you what you need to do when you plug in your receiver to hear the audio. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is connect our receiver to our MacBooks. So on your MacBook, on the right hand side, you should see your headphone port. We're going to go ahead and take our TRS cable or our phone cable, and we're going to go ahead and plug that in. Then what we can do is go ahead and click the power button on our receiver, and we are set. Alright, so the first thing what we want to do is we want to add a shortcut to our menu bar so that way we can have access to volume whenever we may need it. So to do that, we're going to go up to Apple System Preferences. We're going to click on Sounds, and then we're going to make sure that Show Volume and Menu Bar is checked. So when we check that, you should see that volume is up here and we've created that shortcut. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck it to show you that that's where it comes in. So again, make sure it is checked, and that's going to allow us to have that volume in our menu bar so we can have access it to whenever we may need it. The reason why we want to have our volume in our menu bar and have quick access to it is because every time you plug in your microphone with the TRRS cable, it's going to think that you're plugging in a set of headphones, and we actually aren't. We're plugging in our microphone. So every time you plug in your microphone, you need to change your external mic to whatever output you want it to be. I use my MacBook Air speakers, so every time I plug in my microphone, I always change it to my MacBook Air speakers. Note, if you're following along with the video, pause the video here and plug in a receiver. Then change your audio output using your volume in your menu bar to your MacBook Air speakers. You can then continue with the video. Alright, so the last thing we have to do is set up our Zoom. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Zoom, and the nice thing about Zoom is that it will save our preset settings, and every time we open our Zoom meeting, it will be set for us already. So on the bottom left, we're going to go into our audio, and you're going to want to click the caret. And then we're going to look at our microphone. We want to make sure that it's going to come through our external microphone. And then we're going to make sure that our output or our speakers are going to be the one that we're using. For myself, I'm just using my standard MacBook Air speakers. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that is checked. So we'll go ahead, I'm just going to look over this, make sure that my microphone is coming through my external mic, and then making sure that my output or audio output is coming through my MacBook speakers. We can go ahead and end my Zoom. And you should see that every time I start my Zoom, my audio presets are going to be saved. Now that we have everything set, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through how I typically get ready for class. So the first thing I do is I plug in my receiver. I make sure that is turned on. I go ahead and change my volume output to my MacBook speakers using the shortcut that we added to my menu bar. I turn on my transmitter, and then I start my Zoom meeting. And then I'm ready for class. When working with your wireless mics, there are two things to note. First, the wireless microphones work by sending a frequency on a channel. That means it's important teachers above, below, or adjacent of your classroom are all on different channels to minimize interference. To change frequency, what we're going to do is hit the power button to get our screen back on. And then at the same time, we're going to click the volume down arrow and the volume up arrow. And you should notice that my frequency will change. So I went from 914 to 902. And what I would recommend is if your classrooms are right next to each other, have somebody set their channel at 902 and the other person can set their channel at 914. When you're across the entire school, it's okay if you're both running 902 or 903, some channel that are similar, because you're far enough away that your frequencies won't interfere with each other. Next, if you lose connection from your transmitter to your receiver, you will need to repair the two devices. I would also highly recommend repairing the devices if you do end up changing channels. Repairing the two devices can be easy and solve a lot of the problems such as static while using your microphone or audio just not working when everything is connected correctly already. To repair both devices, first start by making sure that our devices are turned off. So we'll turn off our receiver and we'll turn off our transmitter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work with our transmitter first. We're going to hold down the volume or the power button and the volume up arrow at the same time for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn on our transmitter by pressing and then holding the power button. And when our screen turns on, we're going to press and hold the volume up and volume down button until our display blinks. So I'm going to hold the power button, my screen turns on, and then I hold the volume up and volume down arrow, and then my screen is blinking. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my receiver, and you should see that my little middle light here is blinking 3 times. Then we're going to turn off my transmitter and my receiver. We're going to give it about 30 seconds here to a minute. For demonstration purposes, we won't actually wait that long. It should be paired. We're going to go ahead and turn on our transmitter, our receiver, and then we can test audio, because if I bring my lavalier mic up when I speak, you should see that middle light is flashing, indicating that audio is working. And that is how you repair your transmitter and your receiver. I hope this video helps anyone looking to utilize the wireless mic in their classroom. And if you find yourself having any questions, please feel free to send me an email, as that is the best way to reach me. I'm more than happy to help out however I can, or if you find out a great way to utilize the wireless mic, or you're navigating blended learning successfully, I would love to connect and talk. My email is xlee@lacrossesd.org. Thank you.